second. I'm going to unmute us. Okay, so hello there, cyber friends. So we are in the strangest times indeed, aren't we there, Mr. Sparks?
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, so I'm Jay Cherry, and then we got my partner in life and crime, Mr. Sparks. Say hey.
Hey, how are you?
So, there's a lot of stuff going around, especially, so we're in Connecticut, and there's been a new executive order that happened on Friday. And that executive order says that we cannot go into the grocery store. It has to be at 50% occupancy. And the CDC is now recommending we wear masks. And it's getting not a little bit, it's getting really intense. Yes, there is a virus. This isn't to say that there isn't a virus. This isn't to say that we don't take precautions in a world of risk that we live in. There are viruses and bacteria around us all the time. Every day of our lives, we are surrounded by bacteria and viruses. Yes, the COVID-19 is a novel virus. Yes, there are people dying from it. Yes, should our hospitals and our nurses, especially the people working with the sick, should they have the proper gear to take care of the sick and stop the spread of the virus within the hospital? Absolutely, that is close and intimate contact. When you are caring for somebody who is sick, you need a mask, you need gloves, you need a gown, you need to be protected. Our emergency staff and our EMTs, our nurses, our doctors, they all need the proper gear. When you're going to the grocery store, you do not need to wear a mask. And we need to start having a very serious conversation about this. Now, today, living ordinary life does not require you to dress in scrubs. When you're working in a hospital with people who are sick in a pandemic with a novel virus, absolutely. Somebody who's dying from COVID-19 should be allowed to have their family members there in proper gear. All the gear should go for the hospital staff and families who are caring for the sick, not for people to go to the grocery store to be worried about wearing a mask. So let's have a little discussion about how this new executive order, this isn't Governor Lamont's executive order to wear masks. This is CDC recommendations. So let me just be really clear about that. But Connecticut has gotten really strange in the past month as we're all living through this pandemic, right? So local businesses have been forced to close. Restaurants, bars, salons, nail salons, all the types of local businesses that we love that make our communities unique have closed. So we are at the point where everybody's trying to function through this reality. Banks are giving a break. They're basically for people with mortgages on their homes, like most Americans. They're giving a 3-month period where they'll defer payments. But lo and behold, those payments will be on your back the minute this pandemic, is over. You didn't choose this. You didn't want this. Your business was successful. You're paying your bills. You're doing well, stashing cash in the bank. Next thing you know, your thriving, successful local business cannot operate. And now you're going to be dependent on the government to get a loan. So now on top of that, you can't even go into a grocery store or hardware store or any store without these weird new rules. So let's talk about a recent story that kind of seemed like the spark that ignited the flame of this type of tyranny here in our home state of Connecticut. Let's talk about the story of this tragedy that happened to this family. Prayers go out to them. They just lost their baby. And now it's being politicized as a COVID-19 death. And I just want to say, whatever your political affiliation is, whatever your thoughts are on this, the truth is all that matters. So let's take a look. We have a slide here. I got Mr. Sparks over here with the slide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the slide. Since word is getting out, I can now confirm that the infant in Connecticut was accidentally suffocated by the caretaker, who then called police. Governor Lamont knew this and then lied to the world by linking it to the coronavirus because he wants more federal money. He should resign.
Yeah, totally agree. It's terrible. Creating this. I would like to hear. We're gonna play a clip, I guess, from the.
Yeah. So let's play this clip. We're gonna play this clip, and this is our DPH commissioner. This is what's his name? His name is Carter. Let me get you his full name. His name is Matt Carter. So this is Matt Carter. This is the DPH, and this is in response to being questioned on the death of this little baby, this newborn baby, this 6-week-old baby. So take a look. Let's take a look and have a discussion after this. So here we go. Let me just get this up here for you guys. Oh, why is it giving me that screen and not the screen I want? Here, let's see. There we go.
Can you tell us more about the baby and how the baby died? If the baby possibly died of other causes and was also COVID positive?
Want to speak to that, Adrian?
Yeah. Well, first off, cause of death is determined by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, and that is their task. Public health surveillance is very different. Our purpose is to try to identify people who test positive for COVID-19 so that we can implement control measures. So anyone who tests positive, contacts of that person need to be in quarantine. So our definition, what we're counting at the State Health Department, is different than what the medical examiner counts. I don't know the cause of death of this person that you're talking about, or any of the people, because we don't determine cause of death. We define laboratory confirmed COVID-19 associated deaths as anyone who has symptoms of COVID-19, test positive on a COVID-19 test before or around the time of death. We do not determine causality, but that is our determination for public health purposes. The medical examiner has a totally different job, which is to try to determine causality. And you really need to talk to him about the cause of death. And my understanding is, and having worked with all the medical examiners for the past 35 years, determining cause of death is not always easy and can sometimes take weeks to months.
Is it still accurate to link the death to the coronavirus?
Well, from a public health perspective, every COVID positive case that we hear about requires a public health action. So if someone dies and they test positive for COVID-19, for us in public health, that means we are still reaching out, identifying contacts. We do not, in any of our statistics, if you look at how we do flu surveillance, it's done the exact same way. You go to our website, you look at our weekly flu report, we list influenza-related deaths. This is how public health does this across the country. We do not try to, we have our role, we have our job, the medical examiner has his job, and they're very separate, and we count different things.
What we do know is that little baby tested positive for COVID.
There we go. Testing. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I apologize. Thank you. I appreciate it. We got our sound back up and running. You guys heard the video. I turn off the mic when we're running the video because it does this weird kind of echo chamber. Are you guys getting sound now? Is there any sound? Sound check 1, 2. If you're hearing sound, I'm seeing levels on my end. Hopefully that is coming out on your end. So we just played a video that was the Connecticut Department of Public Health. That was Matt Carter. Still saying no sound. Let's see. The block button. So, okay. So anyway, I think I'm having levels now. Let me get my glasses on. I'm seeing levels. Hopefully you guys, yes, they can hear me. Okay, yay. Thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I just played you guys the video from the Department of Public Health. That was Matt Carter. And that was at a press conference that was just held on Friday. And he did not answer the question. He deferred it. So Governor Lamont tweeted out on Wednesday that we had our first death. Love you too, brother. We had our first death in Connecticut of a newborn infant. And then he released this new executive order, which makes our lives even harder. It's been really hard. People are making huge sacrifices. Local businesses have had to shut down. Can I just list some of the businesses that I love? Like, I miss the Celtic Cavern. Shout out to the Celtic Cavern. I'm like sitting here thinking about how I would love to go there, to the Higher Grounds, to Claycola's Coffee and sit on the church steps and have a coffee, to be able to go to the local market and see my friends and have a chit chat without all this stress and negativity. Like I was saying earlier, the people who need to have masks and gloves and scrubs are people working in hospitals with the sick in direct personal communication. Hey, if it makes you feel better to wear a mask and that's where your safe space feels, all the power to you, but don't judge others who are not going to wear a mask in the grocery store.
You know what I found interesting?
Yeah, please say.
I found it interesting that we were, talking about going to Best Buy today, and that was available.
Yeah.
So, like, there's certain businesses like Best Buy, Home Depot. I could have, that's a hardware store, and I get that. But all these different types of corporate businesses are open for business.
All the corporate businesses are open for business. Like,
are we really safer with with small businesses being run out of business and corporate business being allowed to run?
So here's an interesting concept. So we've been discussing, so a lot of people who I know on here know I'm a medical freedom activist. What does that mean? Some people call me names. I'm not going to get into those right now because we're going to discuss this, but like derogatory comments that kind of try to diffuse my argument. I'm not even going to get into that topic here. Medical freedom fighters know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just like concentrating on this particular moment of fear tactics, and it all goes into the same place of what is the truth, what is public health, who guarantees you public health. We all as human beings have the responsibility to take care of our health. I'm not going to go out and go like sneeze or cough in someone's face or like pick my nose and wipe it on you or some kind of other awful thing that would like spread it, or like, you wash your hands after you go to the toilet. You wash your hands when you come home from your being out. You know what? If you're sick, here's something that needs to happen. If you're sick, you need to be able to stay home. That means like Amazon, freaking Amazon has sick people working in their warehouses and won't even let those poor human beings go home. Like, this is BS. There's a whole thing that I want to share with you guys, like that Jimmy Dore link. Yeah. So there's a whole thing about Amazon in a Staten Island warehouse where a whistleblower blew the whistle on Amazon. Amazon doesn't give a shit. Sorry, excuse the language. They're keeping their doors open. They're not doing any kind of quarantine. There's a situation where you need to say, hey, wait a minute.
one of our workers isn't well, for the fact that that poor human being isn't well and they can't take a day off because they have to be worried that their billionaire overlord, Jeff Bezos, isn't going to pay them to have a freaking sick day. And now here we are living in a world where they're putting arrows on the grocery store aisles. You got to wear a mask to go buy a loaf of bread and a half a gallon of milk or whatever it is that you need to go to the store for. But Jeff Bezos gets to go and abuse his workers and have them working while they're sick. What kind of world, what kind of dystopia have we turned into where this is happening? What world are we in? Where have we gone to that now people are calling the police on their neighbors? That Governor Lamont thinks taking the basketball hoops out of the parks is a good idea for kids in the city? Is he lost his mind that he could say a baby died in Hartford of COVID-19? That is an absolute outright lie. It's a lie how he could say that and he could take out basketball hoops. How dare he? And where do we as the people draw the line and say enough is enough? Enough is enough. And we've had enough.
Hey, so,
enough. Sorry, my rant. I'm going to calm down right now.
Yeah, take a deep breath. You know, it's trying times, but you know, they always said correlation isn't causation. So it appears that, you know, speaking to Mr. Carter there, that, you know, they're flipping that narrative around, you know, that correlation isn't causation. You know, so this death happened, they are testing positive. However, they do know that the cause of death is different than that. So wouldn't the responsible thing to be is to, if they want to like alert the family members in private and say that, you know, that they, you know, the baby tested positive and that you should quarantine yourselves, but not to alert it to the whole general public to make the, you know, expectant mothers fear. I mean, people I know are afraid because of that announcement. It upticked the fear.
I just saw something. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. So there's sand in the skate parks. There's sand to stop
so they're
the
trying
kids.
to keep you from.
So okay, we the people now more than ever need to unite for sanity. We the people, because Bill Gates, you guys all knew who Bill Gates is, right? And they'll say, oh, that's conspiracy, you know, tinfoil hats. All the experts agree, right?
Yeah.
So Bill Gates is talking about how we need some digital ID. Stop watching news. Absolutely. So Bill Gates is talking about how we need some digital ID, how we need 10 more weeks, 6 more weeks, all this craziness. Listen, no, zippy, no way, we don't need any more of this kind of reaction to a virus. Healthy people should go back to work. All of the gear, the PPE, they call it, I believe that's what the acronym is, the proper gear that medical people need, the nurses need, doctors need, emergency medical professionals need to deal with sick people, that needs to be available to all the hospitals. All the ventilators need to be there. Hey, build more hospitals, makes more jobs, train more people in healthcare, makes more jobs, builds our economy. That's a no-brainer. That's a beautiful thing. Let's invest in our economy. No, I don't want your made in China drugs or vaccines. No, I'm not a racist. That's not anti-Chinese. I just want things made in America. I do. And because Trump says that doesn't make it irrelevant, okay? It really absolutely doesn't. So things should be made in America. I don't want made in China vaccines. I'm not a racist by any means. It's bullshit. Please don't ever say that about any person. I mean, yeah, there are racists out there, but to say I want to have industry in my own country is somehow bad, that doesn't make any sense. I think we've lost our minds. Don't you? Like, wait a minute. Let's get back to our senses. Healthy people go back to work, right? That we do not follow or we're not going to be importing all of our medical goods like vaccines and stuff from China. Wait a minute. Why are vaccines being made in China and drugs being made in China? They bypass the regulations. They bypass our protocol. And our protocol isn't that great. Okay, our protocol isn't that great. Industry has captured the CDC. Industry has captured the FDA. When there are doctors talking about, chloroquine is the pronunciation of that, intravenous vitamin C. And then Facebook is censoring people like Andrew Saul, who's talking about intravenous vitamin C studies in Japan being used and successfully in Japan. And that's being censored from Facebook and censored from Twitter. And the dissenting voice and people who are asking questions is being censored. We have a problem. We've entered into a new area of hysteria that we need to step away from. Healthy people should be able to go back to work. All of our medical staff should be properly supplied with all the things that they need, from ventilators and gear and everything else. And then the rest of the public should go about their business. People with immunocompromised family members or elderly should take the proper precautions. The government cannot guarantee you your safety. That's not the role of government. Okay? It's not the role of government. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Sparks?
Well, I just say that, try to keep your head in this crazy time and keep your eyes wide open, because there's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't add up. And I think that Lamont, circling back to our initial point, is got really caught exposed with perpetrating this lie that is really harmful to the mental health of the populace and needs to take account for it.
Amen to that. Amen to sensibility. Look, let's all love each other. Tomorrow's Palm Sunday. Let me just can I just pause here on this for a minute? So Easter's coming, and whatever you feel about people, Christians and people who are religious, when you're celebrating Christmas and all these holidays and you're not religious or whatever that is, it's not about religion in the sense of a criticism right now. I'm talking about family traditions. I'm talking about tomorrow's Palm Sunday. That was a big deal in my family growing up in an Italian household, and Palm Sunday and getting your palms. I think of my grandma who passed away, and she's not here right now. And I think of my family who I don't get to see next week, or it's going to be really difficult because they're in New York in the epicenter of the pandemic, and I'm worried if I drive into town with my Connecticut plates, like, I don't want to cause trouble, and I'm just like, I don't even know. This is a really difficult place to be. So tomorrow is a really spiritual and special day, and all I can say is that maybe we all unite in prayer across every race and religion and creed, and wherever you are, all of us have a higher being, a higher power that we can tap in and pray for a sense of healing and sanity, because this is not the direction we want to be in. I do not want Bill Gates to dictate what I get to do with my own very body. I think what you do with your body is your personal affair. I don't think anyone should tell you anything. That's between you and the practitioner that you choose, from an allopath to a homeopath or a naturopath. If you want a vaccine, fine, go have it. If you get COVID-19 and you want to have intravenous vitamin C and your doctor agrees, you should have the right to do that too. If chloroquine is going to work, yay, go for it. But putting the rest of us in this situation where you're killing our economy, you're killing our culture, you're killing our soul, it's time to stop. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. We're going to end our broadcast there, and just please stop the madness. See you on the flip side, guys. As long as we can, stop the madness.